Let me tell you something that no one ever pulled me to the side and said. Like, really said. Not my OB, not my therapist, not even the girl with 14,000 followers on TikTok holding a crystal and a fertility smoothie. The same energy that made you successful is likely the energy that's making it hard for you to get pregnant. Yeah, let that sink in. And before you roll your eyes or log off, just hang with me. Because this might be the most important podcast you'll hear this year. I know you. You're the one that people come to when everything is falling apart. You hold it all together. You're probably saved in someone's phone as emergency contact, and can you help me real quick? You run a business or a household or both. You wake up at 6 a.m. or 5 if you're an overachiever, coffee in one hand, answering emails, making mental grocery lists, and praying no one asks you what's for dinner before 9 a.m. You are skipping breakfast, not because you're too good, but because let's get real, you ran out of time. You meant to eat something, you did, but now it's 11:47. You're halfway through a protein bar you found in your purse from last week. Meanwhile, your ovulation test says peak, but your body, she's crickets, radio silence. And you're walking 10,000 steps, eating gluten-free, dairy-free, fun-free, saying no to birthday cake like it's poison, meal prepping like a contestant on Chopped, hormone edition, and you're still not ovulating, still bloated, still tired, still staring down at a cycle of playing hide and seek. Sound familiar? I know because I just described your entire Tuesday. You're not alone. Sis, you've been praised your whole life for being productive, for being strong, for doing what needs to be done, even when your tank was on E. You've been wearing that like a badge of honor because honestly, you had to. No one was coming to save you. You became the strong one because there wasn't another option. But here's the part that they don't tell us. That strength, that hustle, that get it done energy, it's the environment that your body won't ovulate in. I once had a client, let's call her Jasmine. Jasmine was a boss, okay? She ran her department, paid off her student loans, had a Google Calendar that could rival the Pentagon. She did everything right. And still, she hadn't ovulated in months. When we looked at her day, I said, okay, let's talk about your mornings. She goes, well, I wake up at 5, do a fasted walk, answered emails during, do a protein shake at 8, Zoom at 9, and then I kind of forget to eat until like 2. I said, girl, you're working harder than a Navy SEAL on deployment. Your body thinks you're in a war zone. We laughed, and then she cried because she realized something that no one ever told her. You can't outwork your way to ovulation. You have to feel safe enough to receive. And that's what I want to offer you today, a reframe, a different way of thinking about your body. Because what if your body's not broken? What if she's just bracing? Bracing for the next stressor, bracing for the next skip meal, bracing for the next expectation that says be productive, be perfect, be pregnant. What if she doesn't feel safe enough to release? To soften, to say, okay, I'm ready to create life. And in the next part, we're going to talk about what that actually looks like. What does it mean when your body doesn't feel safe? And how does that show up in your cycle, your cravings, your emotions, and your hope? It's not just hormonal, it's deeply personal. Stick with me. This next part might finally explain why all of the right things you've been doing haven't worked. Let's be real. Trying to get pregnant with PCOS isn't just a medical journey, it's an emotional hostage situation. You feel trapped inside a body that doesn't do what it's supposed to do. And the grief, it's real, it's deep, and it's inevitable. You smile, you show up, and you keep working, keep performing, keep giving, but on the inside, you are quietly unraveling. You know the moment I'm talking about. You're in the grocery store, you pass the baby out, and your chest tightens. It's the pack of diapers, just diapers, but it hits you like a punch in the gut. You look away fast, like you don't want to make eye contact. It won't swallow you. You take a breath, you pull yourself together, you go pick up oat milk and Greek yogurt while wondering if either one of them is secretly ruining your fertility. Or maybe it's the baby shower. You showed up, you brought the gift, you complimented the cake, you smiled for the photos, but no one saw the way your fingers clenched under the table when the mom-to-be held her belly and said, we weren't even trying. No one saw the bathroom tears you wiped away with toilet tissue. No one saw the Target pregnancy test in your bag because you tested this morning and it was negative again. This is the heartbreak no one sees. This is a silent grief of doing everything right and still bleeding every month like a promise unkept. It's not just the hormones. It's not just the timing. It's trauma. Little T, big T, whatever you want to call it. It's a trauma of hoping and hoping and hoping and still not being chosen by your body, by your universe, by the two lines that never show up. I had a client, let's call her Nicole. She had one of those I'm fine faces. You know what I mean? professional, polished, says the right things. She told me, I don't want to be emotional about this. I need a plan. But 3 weeks in, we're talking about her cycle, and she whispers, sometimes I pee on a stick early, just because I wanted to say yes, even when I know it won't. And then she broke. She didn't need another plan. She needed permission to grieve, to stop performing, to let the armor fall off, to say, I'm not okay and I shouldn't have to be. If you're crying right now, it's okay. If you feel like I just described the part of you no one talks to, that's not an accident. This is the part of your fertility journey that gets ignored because it's easier for people to say, just relax, just keep trying. Have you tried acupuncture? Try not to think about it. Girl, you're out here fighting for your future, bleeding through your soul, and they're out here recommending vibes and tea. But I see you. I see the strength it takes to show up every month, to love a body that lets you down, to take care of everyone else while you're wondering if you will ever be taken care of. You don't just want a baby. You want your body to work. You want to feel whole again. You want to stop feeling like your womb is an unreliable narrator. And you deserve that. You deserve to feel in a way that honors your heart, not just your hormones. So before we dive into the next section, where I'm going to break down exactly how your nervous system, blood sugar, and hormones all tied into this silent meltdown, I just want to say this. You're not broken. You're just grieving. You're not behind. You're just burnt out. And you're not alone. You've cried quietly for too long. And this next part, I'm going to help you understand why your body's been holding on instead of letting go and what we can do to change that. Let's get into it. Okay, so now that we talked about the emotional weight of all this, let's get into what's actually happening psychologically in your body. Because here's the real deal. And I want you to hear me when I say this. Your body isn't broken. She's protecting you. She's not being defiant. She's not punishing you. She's just responding exactly how she was designed to. When she thinks your emotional and physical environment isn't safe for life. Let's break it down. Let's say your day looks a little something like this. You wake up already feeling behind. You skip breakfast because the toddler spilled something and your inbox is full. You're drinking coffee on an empty stomach because, well, you're human. You eat half a protein bar while sending a Slack message. You stress through 2 to 3 back-to-back Zoom meetings. You walk 5 miles because your Apple Watch says you're slaying. Maybe you forget lunch. Maybe you grab a salad. You hit the pantry at 3 p.m. like a woman who's possessed. Does that sound familiar? This is more than just a busy day. This is a hormonal shutdown cocktail. Here's what's going on under the lid. Cortisol. When you're stressed, your body produces cortisol. Cortisol is your stay alive hormone. And when she's around too much, ovulation goes offline. Because survival always beats reproduction. Blood sugar swings, skipping meals, surviving on caffeine, and crashing midday, that's sending your insulin on a roller coaster. And guess what? High insulin directly messes with ovulation. It blocks the hormone signal that's saying, hey, it's time to release an egg. Low progesterone, if you're not ovulating, you're not making progesterone, which means that your cycles are irregular, your moods are unpredictable, and your uterus is literally unprepared for implantation. Your body isn't crazy, she's strategic. If she thinks she's not safe, she will not allow a pregnancy. And this next part is what breaks my heart. Because no one told you that working out harder could delay ovulation. No one told you that skipping meals might be the reason why you're bloated and craving sugar. No one told you that walking 5 miles a day while under eating can signal your body to say, we're in a famine, do not reproduce. You thought that you were being disciplined, you thought that you were being healthy, but your body doesn't speak diet culture. She speaks safety. I had a client, let's name her Mel. Okay, she was a type A to her core. She tracked everything. She took 12 supplements a day, was in the gym 5 days a week, and still gaining weight. And every time her period ghosted her, she blamed herself. I must have done something wrong. I need to get more stricter. No, boo. Her body wasn't punishing her. Her body was in light lockdown, flight mode. The moment we swapped her workouts for restorative movement, balanced her blood sugar, and stopped skipping breakfast, she ovulated for the first time in months. Without meds, without magic, just nervous system strategy. Your body is not a machine. She's a security system. She's scanning out for potential threats constantly. And when she sees stress, starvation, overexertion, poor sleep, emotional chaos, she says, let's not make a baby. She sets it all the way down because now is not the time to grow life. You cannot grind your way to pregnancy. You have to soften your way there. So if you've been blaming yourself, if you've been being too emotional, for having cravings, for gaining weight, even while doing it right, for not ovulating when the app says you should, please know this. It's not your fault. It's your body protecting you the only way she knows how. And the beautiful news is protection mode is not permanent. We can teach your body that it's safe again. We can rewire her cues. We can rebuild trust. And then the next part, I'm going to tell you about two of my clients, how their bodies shifted and how when they did less, not more, when they replaced pressure with peace and when their wombs responded. Because this isn't just about hormone levels. This is about healing the relationship between you and your body. Let me tell you what happens when your body feels safe. Like truly cellular level nervous system kind of safe. Because I've watched it happen more times than I can count. And every single time I'm watching a flower bloom in slow motion. These women come to me exhausted, not just physically, they're emotionally fried. Their calendars are packed, their Google Docs are color coded, their ovulation kits are stocked like a fertility supply closet. They've done the yoga, the whole 30, the fertility tea from that one influencer up in Bali. They've walked 5 miles a day even when their legs ache. They've skipped the birthday cake, canceled dates, and Googled PCOS miracle success stories at 1 a.m. while crying on the bathroom floor. They're smart, they're capable, they're hardworking, and they're completely disconnected from the idea that rest is reproductive. They don't know how to stop because they've been taught that stopping is the same thing as failing. So when I say things like, let's pause the gym for a minute, let's stop skipping breakfast, let's go on a walk and not track it, let's swap the HIIT for hot baths and blood sugar balance, they look at me like I've absolutely lost my mind because no one has ever given them permission to soften. But here's what happens when they do. Their digestion gets quieter. Their cravings calm down. Their bloating begins to ease. They sleep better. They stop crying at 3 p.m. because they're not starving and overstimulated and emotionally raw anymore. They go from peeing on ovulation sticks and getting nothing to seeing that surge, to confirming ovulation, to getting a real healthy sustained luteal phase. And sometimes their period comes, but sometimes they're not devastated because now they understand what their body is doing. They build trust. They can feel that something is finally working again. And then they see the second line. I've gotten the message that starts with, I don't want to get too excited, but I'm shaking while I type this, but is this real life? I've been trying for years and I finally. This didn't happen because they tried harder. It happened because they let their body finally exhale. So if you've been grinding, pushing, and praying and wondering why your body still says no, ask yourself this. Have you ever made your body feel safe? Have you ever eaten a slow breakfast without guilt? Have you ever skipped a workout because you were tired and treated that rest like you were still doing something? Have you ever listened to your cravings instead of punishing yourself for them? Because the moment that these women stopped trying to fix themselves, their bodies started healing. You don't need more permission. You need permission to stop, to soften, just to feel safe again. And in this next section, I'm going to walk you through what your womb is really asking for. What she's been trying to communicate through every missed period, every craving, every sleepless night, every tear-streaked pregnancy test. Because she's not saying you can't. She's saying, please help me feel safe enough to say yes. Let's take a deep breath together, like a real one. Inhale, exhale. Because what I'm about to say might change the way you look at your body forever. Your womb, she doesn't want pressure. She wants peace. She's not a machine. She's not a checklist. She's not a productivity tool. She's a sanctuary. She's a space of creation. And she cannot bloom in a battlefield. Imagine you're holding a flower in your hand. If you scream at it, does it bloom? If you yell at it and squeeze it harder, tell it to bend, tell it to open up already, does it? No, it wilts. But if you give it warmth, if you protect it from the wind, if you water her, if you nurture her, if you let it sit in soft light, it opens. Not because it was forced, but because it feels finally safe. Your womb is no different. And if you're honest, you've been trying to control her. You've been micromanaging ovulation like a corporate project. You've been negotiating with your uterus like she owes you a deliverable. You've turned her into a task. You wake up early, you skip breakfast, 10K steps, clean eating, track every symptom, track your tracking. school, everything, cry when it doesn't work, start over. You don't trust her because you've never been taught to. But maybe the problem isn't your womb. Maybe it's what you've been taught. Maybe it's the way you've been trying to manage her instead of meeting her. Think about it. Have you ever eaten the slow, nourishing meal just because your body asks for it? Not to be good, not to stay on track, just to honor what she needs? Have you ever skipped a walk and taken a nap instead and felt proud of yourself for choosing rest? Have you ever stopped mid-task, placed a hand on your belly and said, I trust you, I'm listening? If the answer is no, of course your womb is scared to open. She's never known what safety feels like. You've been living in fix-it mode. You see a symptom, you attack it. You see a delay, you double down. You see a missed period, you blame yourself. But the womb, she doesn't respond to hustle. She responds to softness, to warmth, to trust. She doesn't want to be forced into pregnancy. She wants to be invited. She wants to be nourished, not negotiated with. She wants you to slow down, not give up, but to finally give in to the kind of healing she's been asking for all along. She's been whispering for years, I'm not the problem. I'm just overwhelmed. Stop punishing me. Stop starving me. Stop shaming me. Please hold me. Please feed me. Please see me. And today, she's asking for one more thing. Please trust me again. So in the next section, I'm going to walk you through exactly how we do that inside of From PCOS to Pregnancy. Not by handing you another to-do list, not by punishing you harder, but by showing you how to rebuild that sacred relationship between you and your body. Because when your womb feels supported, when your nervous system feels calm, when your body feels safe, she says yes to ovulation, to motherhood. Let me show you how we get there together. Okay, so you've heard the truth. You felt the shift. Maybe for the first time you're realizing this isn't your fault. It was never about being broken. It was about being burnt out. So now the big question is, how do I actually fix this? Not like fix it like micromanage it. Fix it like restore this, regulate, build trust. And that's exactly what I do in my program From PCOS to Pregnancy. It's a 6-month, deeply personalized container designed for high achieving women just like you, who've done everything right and still can't get pregnant. And inside, we don't guess, we decode. We start by getting your body out of survival mode. Because no matter how many supplements you take, if your nervous system still thinks you're in danger, your womb will keep saying no. So we create a daily rhythm that actually calms your hormones. No more skipping breakfast, no more over exercising, no more treating your body like she has to earn fertility. We build rituals that make her feel safe again. We regulate blood sugar like your fertility depends on it, because it does. Most women with PCOS have no idea that the reason they're not ovulating is because their glucose is hijacking their hormones. So we don't guess, we stabilize. We use food as medicine, but never as punishment. You know exactly how to eat in a way that fuels ovulation, balances cravings, and supports sustained energy. No more starving, no more confusion, no more is oat milk ruining my fertility. We track, but we track with intention. We don't track to panic, we track to understand your temps, your symptoms, your patterns. Everything gets coded so we know exactly where your gaps are and how to fill them. And if you've been tracking for months and still don't know what's wrong, this ends here and you're never doing it alone again. You have private messaging access to me 24/5, weekly coaching calls, real support. No more waiting for your next appointment. No more waiting or going to Google at midnight. Because you deserve white glove support. No more vague advice from someone who doesn't understand PCOS your body. This is not a check-in once a month and hope for the best kind of coaching. This is a I'm with you every single step of the way kind of support. And I need you to hear this. The goal isn't just a positive pregnancy test. The goal is a body that knows how to conceive because when she finally feels safe enough to, a body that trusts herself again, a cycle that actually cycles, ovulation that happens on its own, a pregnancy that sticks, because we don't just force it, we prepare for it. This is the work that no one's talking about because it's complicated, because it requires more than a plan, it requires partnership. So if everything in you is whispering, that's what I've been missing, you're right. In the final part of this episode, I'm going to leave you with a message your womb has been dying to hear. A message of hope, healing, and the powerful possibility that this next cycle could be the one that changes everything. Because when your body feels supported, she says yes to ovulation, to pregnancy, and to the life that you're building everything else around. Let's talk about what's happening next. You've made it to this part of the episode, and I know something about you. You're not just curious, you're not just trying, you're ready. Maybe not in a have it all figured out kind of way. Maybe in a I can't keep doing it like this kind of way. You're tired of the guessing, of the Googling. You're tired of blaming yourself every time your period comes early or not at all. And I want you to hear this from someone who's walked the road, both as a coach and as a woman who has lost pregnancy from unhealed PCOS. Your body is not broken. She is just bracing. She's been holding it all together while you've been climbing ladders, taking care of people, smiling through meetings while bleeding through your jeans, saying I'm fine when you're anything but. She's been absorbing every skip meal, every missed signal, every forced workout. She's been listening while you talk to her like a project to fix instead of a partner to love. And still, she hasn't given up on you. She's still here. She's still trying. She's whispering, please show me it's safe enough to open. You spent years trying to earn a baby, trying to prove that you're ready enough, healthy enough, disciplined enough. But fertility doesn't reward discipline. It responds in nourishment. It blooms in rest. It unfolds in trust. You don't need to do more. You need to come home to your body. And I want to invite you, genuinely, from the most grounded place in my heart to do that inside of my signature program, From PCOS to Pregnancy. Because that's the moment you've been waiting for. The second line, the heartbeat, the finally. It doesn't just happen by pushing harder. It happens by partnering better. This isn't just about getting pregnant. It's about changing your relationship with your body for the rest of your life. It's about learning how to eat without fear, how to track without obsession, how to rest without guilt. It's to learn how to trust your womb the same way you trust your ambition, your leadership, your strength. It's not about carrying this alone. Because if you made it this far, you're not just trying to get pregnant. You're trying to feel whole again. And let me help you get there. Book your personalized pregnancy plan today. There's a link in the show notes and in my bio, and I will walk you through what's been holding you back and keeping your body stuck, and I'll show you the exact steps I'll take to make her say yes. No pressure, no big pitch, just clarity, compassion, and a step forward. If your heart's beating fast right now, it's your gut saying, this is it. This is what I've been missing. This is not random. This is her, your womb, your intuition, your future baby whispering, please, let's do it differently this time. And now you can. You don't just have to guess anymore. You don't have to hustle. You don't have to do this alone. Your body is ready. Let's help her say yes. If you found this episode beneficial, please do me a favor and leave a review for me in the podcast